What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk. And today we're doing a quick summary of Week 4 in the NFL. As always, I'm your host, Respawn Granted, co-host RB. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. So we have a lot to discuss, and I think we should just get right into it. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right. So the Thursday night game was your team. Do you want to skip to the end with yours? Okay.
Yeah.
We're just going to jump right into Sunday then.
Okay.
Let's start with Minnesota against New Orleans. That was the game in London. Minnesota ended up pulling out the win 28-25. What's your thoughts on the game, man?
Kind of like what we touched on last week, dude. Minnesota, I don't know, man. You never know what you're going to get with them, but they did get the win. It's a legitimate win. New Orleans ended up going with Andy Dalton. It's an injury to Jameis Winston. I don't know how hurt he really is, but they looked a little bit better with Andy Dalton. He played well. He had a quarterback rating of 108. Didn't turn the ball over, most importantly. And they ran the ball pretty well, so they had good balance. They ran 27 times, threw 28 times, and it was a close game. But yeah, Minnesota's 3-1, so you got to give them credit. A win is a win. They'll take it when you can get them.
Yeah, and New Orleans, they missed that crazy field goal at the end of the game. If it wasn't for that, they would have tied up, won probably overtime. Who knows?
It was the week for missing field goals and extra points. Take it from me.
Yeah. All right, so that was a pretty good game. That was a good start to Sunday. Then we jump over to the next game. We had Cleveland at Atlanta. Cleveland lost 20-23. Yeah. I don't have much to say about this one, to be honest with you.
Dude, I mean, Atlanta, Mariota, I mean, it is what it is, but dear God, like I said last week, Jacoby Brissett, he's going to hit a wall. Now, you know, he was throwing in the other games before, like 2-3 touchdowns, not turning it over. This game, he had a quarterback rating of 68, which is abysmal. That's the real Jacoby Brissett, by the way.
Right.
Trust me, take it from Dolphins fans. We know what he's capable of. Not much. And on a team where they can run the ball, they had 177 yards rushing. Kareem Hunt only had 10 carries for 49 yards. It's 5 yards a carry. Nick Chubb had 6 yards a carry, 19 carries for 118 yards. And you can't even throw a touchdown pass. And you lost to Mariota, who's not much better quarterback than Brissett. I mean, he had a quarterback rating of 41. That's even worse.
Yeah.
This was a bad game.
Yeah.
It was not a good game to watch.
Yep. And both teams are 2-2 now.
Yeah.
That's again crazy.
It's early on. A lot of this shit will change, but oof.
Yep. All right. So that being said, because we don't have much to say about that game, we're going to jump over to the next one, which was a very good game in my opinion. We had Buffalo against Baltimore. Buffalo ended up winning 23-20. Baltimore, this is the second game that they lost late in the second half. Is this just showing what kind of a defense this really is? Like, what do you think's going on with that team, dude?
I think that, the Ravens have a lot of guys out, like all the Buffalo Bills fans want to talk about injuries. I don't think there isn't any NFL team that isn't dealing with injuries, some more than others, but Baltimore's got quite a few guys out themselves on defense and offense. Dude, the head coach lost that game. You have the ball inside the 5-yard line. It's a tie game. You take the points when they're there.
Right.
Okay. You don't do that. You take the 23-20 lead, puts a little bit more pressure on Buffalo. The field goal that they kick would have only sent the game to overtime. It's anybody's game. In a game where Lamar Jackson didn't play his best football, yes, they blew a 17-point lead, but they could have won this game and probably should have won it.
And they almost did. Lamar, they did come to the end. He threw that pass into the end zone. It just didn't connect with his receiver. So if he did, he actually would have came back and won that game.
I'll tell you what, based on the coverage, you would never tell. Buffalo's getting all kinds of love for this comeback. I wasn't that impressed with Buffalo. And that's coming from a division rival, but it's also an unbiased. They didn't look that good in that game. The Bills didn't look that good in that game. And don't talk to me about injuries because Baltimore is loaded with injuries too. It was two heavyweights. one coach is a moron, the other coach is less of a moron. It's just like, I don't know. Like, you take the points when they're there. But Lamar Jackson, I'm going to say this real quick before we move on to the next game. An observation in that game, regardless whether you stay in Baltimore or you go to somewhere else, dude, if it's a slant over the middle, you don't have to throw it 100 miles an hour, man. Put some touch on that ball. Did you notice that? Every throw he makes, even a throw to the running back in the flat, he's putting like everything into it.
Yeah.
A, you're going to blow out your shoulder. B, you don't have to do that. The best quarterbacks know when to zip it in there and when to take it off and put a little bit of touch on there. No, you can't float it up there because then it gives the defender time to close in and make the play or make a play on the ball. But, dude, you don't have to throw it 150 miles an hour every play, a 5-yard slant. There was a lot of passes that could have been caught if you had taken a little bit off. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's a lot of times when you lead to those tip balls that go up in the air and the defenders end up picking it off. So yeah, I agree with you. You got to know when to show that power and when not to. Mm-hmm. So that being said, I think that was a very exciting game. Now we're going to jump over to another game that I actually liked more than I thought I was going to like, which was Washington at Dallas. We had Dallas winning this game 25-10. And let me tell you something, dude. I like what I see out of Rush. The quarterback, the backup quarterback. I am really liking this kid. I am liking the way he reads the defense, and I am liking the way he throws the ball, man. I mean, is it a coincidence? I don't know, man, but he's looking pretty good.
No, see, here's the thing. We talked about this last week. I told you. Yeah. If you remember last week, I said, this kid's pretty good. Dak Prescott, take your time. No need to rush back.
Right.
He's 4-0 as a starter.
I know.
That's not easy. It's not easy to get a win in the NFL. He's 4-0. Yeah. And the other thing I noticed about this kid, am I saying he's better than Dak Prescott? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this guy is a good quarterback, okay? Mm-hmm. When the game, late in the game, it seems like he gets better. When the game is on the line and they need him to drive down, he gets the job done every freaking time. Yeah. And, yeah, I'm in agreement. I think he's an underrated quarterback.
He looks like a veteran, doesn't he?
What's that?
He looks like a veteran. Like, he looks like a guy that's been playing for 10 years.
But he's not. He really is. He's relatively new. And on the flip side, Carson Wentz is Carson Palmer 2.0. Maybe worse.
Yeah.
That injury, when he was having that MVP season, that injury, he's done. I'm sorry, this kid's done. And it's a shame because he was a talented guy, but sometimes when you get hurt like that, it's not as much physical as it is mental.
Yeah.
And I just think when you play scared, if you've played any kind of sport or been a student in the game, you know this because talking over the years, you can't play scared. You're going to get hurt again. And when you play scared, two things happen. You get hurt and you're never the same player. You never play at that level that you were playing at before. That's Carson Wentz right now. He's a shell of himself.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is he shows glimpses of his old self because even in that game, I think he threw 2 picks, if I'm not mistaken, but he did throw a beautiful touchdown to one of his guys in the corner of the end zone. It's like, there it is. Like, he has glimpses of it, but just it's not fully there. I agree with you. I think he might be done.
And real quick, but for those of you going to say, well, Dallas has got Ezekiel Elliott. Dude, their running backs combined for 29 carries, 62 yards. That's 2.1 yards per carry. This was all Cooper Rush.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, dude. This kid, Cooper Rush, he is going to get a starting job somewhere. The way that people jumped all over Garoppolo to get after like a game and a half, this kid's going to get a big contract somewhere to play. I can tell you that right now.
Honestly, I think he might be better than Garoppolo, dude. Honestly, I really do think so.
I think so too. But I don't want to jump the gun, but I'm just saying the way that teams like to throw money at backups when they play like a game or two, this kid's played 3.5 games and he looks good.
4 games. He's 4-0.
Yeah.
He's
well, Dak started the season though, didn't he?
Yes, but he played a game last year and started in place of Dak. Right. So he won that game. Right. And so far 3 games. So he's 4-0.
That's right. Yeah. So, and he looks good. He looks comfortable in the pocket. He looks like he knows what he's doing. So I don't know. This kid could be something. Maybe we'll see.
Yep.
But let's jump over to the next game. Very high scoring game. Did not see this coming. Seattle against Detroit. Seattle ended up winning 48-45. What is that? What happened there? It's such a high scoring game.
I'm going to tell you what I'm like 50-50. I'm with you at 50% of it, of what you said, and the other part, I'm not. I'm surprised Seattle scored that many points. I'm not surprised Detroit. Detroit's been scoring points. Their defense has been allowing a lot of points. That's the problem.
Right.
Because they've been scoring points. If they scored 35 against the almighty Eagles, where the Eagles only won by 3. So,
yeah.
And everybody is, they're 4-0 and the cushy schedule or whatever. They can score. The problem is their defense is they're scoring like 35, but they're giving up 35. Right. So their defense is not really good, but they got a good running attack finally. For years they didn't. Jared Goff, I said it and I'm going to say it again. He's not that bad of a quarterback, dude. He was just paid like a franchise quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback, but he's a good quarterback. If Detroit were to let this guy go, I can guarantee you he wouldn't last long. He would be signing somewhere else. 4 touchdown passes, 1 interception, a quarterback rating of 121, 378 yards. You put up 45 points. The problem is you gave up 48 to Geno freaking Smith, dude.
Right. Guy had a career game right there.
They did run the ball well too. Seattle, wow. 33 carries for 235 yards. Wow. Can you have a pulse on defense, Detroit? Because if you did, you might actually be 3-1 instead of 1-3.
Right. Yeah.
Just saying.
This was clearly not a defensive matchup at all to give up that much, not even close. No. But that being said, very entertaining for those of you that like high-powered offenses and fantasy football-wise, right?
Yeah.
So let's jump over to the next game. We have the LA Chargers going against the Houston Texans. LA won this game 34-24.
Yeah.
Now, this game here, there was 2 firsts, which I didn't even realize. Apparently, the Chargers had their first rushing touchdown of the year in this game, and Houston had their first touchdown to a wide receiver in the year in this game. So you're in week 4, and you hadn't had a rushing touchdown if you're the Chargers, and you hadn't had a touchdown pass to a wideout if you're Houston. I don't know, man. Kind of strange to me. I mean, but what are your thoughts on the game?
Well, the Chargers are 2-2. That's what the media wants. So they're all back on the bandwagon again. Notice the theme here with me, dude. I'm not going to let it go until they actually act like, I don't know, a news outlet, sports news outlet, and act professional. Yeah. But Herbert threw for 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, quarterback rating of 113 against the crappy Texans. The Texans are not a very good team.
No, they're not.
Let's face it.
They didn't look good either.
No, this quarterback, this is his second year. Mm-hmm. He played all right. He reminds me of Daniel Jones of the Giants. That's what he is. He's an average to below average quarterback. And they have a lot of nobodies on this team.
Houston, right? You're talking about Houston?
Yeah, Houston. Yeah. So everybody's all over the Chargers bandwagon again. I want to see them do it against the good teams, which is those are the ones that Herbert, quite frankly, struggles against. He has a losing record against Bill Belichick. So, until when all the hoopla around him, until he starts beating the good teams, it's all bullcrap. I don't want to hear it. Seriously, I know that a lot of us Dolphins fans wanted him, but honestly, it is what it is, dude. He's beating up a lot of bad teams, and when he faces the good ones, he comes up short. So that what it is. That's what it is.
Now, speaking of that statement, we have another 2-2 team that seems to beat the crappy teams, supposedly, we're going on to Tennessee against Indy. Tennessee ended up winning this game 24-17. But let me tell you something. After about halfway point in the third quarter, neither team could score. So Tennessee won this game, but they don't look that great to me personally, and Indy looks even worse. What are your thoughts?
Didn't I tell you this 2 weeks ago?
Which part?
That Tennessee was not the same team as last year?
Yes, you did. Yep.
They lost a lot of weapons on offense, especially in the passing game.
Yeah.
Tannehill is what he is. He's a game manager. He's a solid quarterback. He's all right. He's not bad. He had a quarterback rating of 125. Problem is, they only let him throw 21 times, and they ran 28. I guess when you have a quarterback that you don't trust very much, you're kind of forced to do that. But, dude, Derrick Henry's going to be dead if you make it to the playoffs. I don't think he's going to have any legs.
Right. Yeah.
The Colts.
And then what about Indy?
They just lost their running back, Jonathan Taylor. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think he's out for the year, if I'm not mistaken. And that is going to be a big blow to the Colts.
Yeah. Yep. And speaking of quarterbacks that don't look like they used to, Indianapolis has Matt Ryan this year. And he does not look like how he used to. He's another one that might be done.
Different team, different offense. I mean, he played all right. 356 yards, quarterback rating of 109, 2-1.
Yeah.
The Texans do. I mean, the Titans do have a good defense.
Yeah, they do.
For all they're weak on offense, especially in the passing game. The Titans defense is good. So that's not really much to sneeze at. Again, new team, new offense.
Right.
They're still acclimating. We'll see by middle of the season. I mean, let's not overreact here, but they are 1-2-1, correct? So,
yeah, yep.
I mean, I guess thankfully they're in a shitty division, so they're going to be right there anyway, regardless.
It's true because Jacksonville and Tennessee are at the top of that division at 2-2, so they're only technically half game behind. So they, but now we're going to jump over to the next game. We got Chicago at the Giants. Chicago lost 20-12. So. Yeah, this was another one that was a really ugly game. But the Giants did enough to win this game. What are your thoughts on this one?
Justin Fields threw for over 170 yards. Congratulations.
Right.
No touchdowns, didn't turn it over, at least not in terms of interceptions.
Right.
But he had a quarterback rating of 76.
Right.
He was sacked 6 freaking times for a guy that's supposed to be mobile. That's your strength, running around. You're not really a good passer. Like I said, the Bears are 2-2. That's a flawed 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
They have a good running game. They have a good defense. The Giants, well, they're 3-1. Tyrod Taylor, he came in relief of Jay. Neither one of these teams is good.
Right.
Let's just end it that way. I think the best player on both teams is Barkley, the running back of the Giants.
Yeah.
31 carries, 146 yards. And then he also went on to catch another 2 passes for 16 yards. So he's a stud if he can stay healthy. But Daniel Jones, I think this is his last year in New York. Justin Fields, I think, was a bust. I think the Bears are going to regret drafting him where they drafted him at. And I don't think there's much to be said here. This was another game that was just hard to watch.
Yeah, it was not very enjoyable, but I agree with you. Barkley was a stud, and he was the one shining spot during that game. Very interesting, very fun to watch.
Yep.
Now we're gonna jump over to another game. This game was, in my opinion, another really good game. We had Jacksonville against Philadelphia. Jacksonville 21, Philadelphia 29. But Jacksonville did have the lead for a while before they blew it. Now this was fun to watch.
This was a good game. Let me start with Jacksonville.
Yeah.
The thing about this first-year head coach there, not his first year as a head coach, but there in Jacksonville, you could see Lawrence getting better in this new system. But it is a new system. You're going to have games with young teams like this where they look really good and then they look really bad or average at times. They had a 14-0 lead in this game. I actually sat up and I said, wow, okay. And then the Eagles did come back, but everybody's Superman, Jalen Hurts, 204 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, a quarterback rating of 73. And when you listen to them talk about him on ESPN, it's like he threw for 5 touchdown passes. He did jack shit in his game. His running game carried him. His defense carried him. And he did nothing against a young and up-and-coming Jacksonville team whose defense is pretty solid. So just wait until Mr. Hurts plays some really good teams, and then we'll see how good he really is. So like everybody keeps saying, I'm not on ESPN, I'm not sold on Tua. I'm not sold on Tua. I'm not sold on this kid because the only pulse of a defense that you played, which was Jacksonville, you looked below average in this game and you barely won. And it took your running game and your defense. It had nothing to do with him and everything else to do about the running game and the defense. So, again, let's pump certain guys up and shit all over other guys. And I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm just saying he's overrated in the media. It's biased. It's ridiculous. And for my boy out there who's probably watching this, because he has been watching, sorry, brother, I know you're a big Eagles fan, but your quarterback is freaking overrated as shit, dude. Until he shows me something, stop with the bullshit. Stop with the hype, because that's all it is hype.
It might be only hype, but, dude, they are the only undefeated team left in the league.
Who have they played?
I'm just saying.
They play?
I'm just
Who
saying.
The hell have they
I'm
played?
reading the facts. 4-0.
Who the hell have they played, dude? Give me a break, dude.
So here's the thing. In, let's say, 6 weeks, who do you think is going to shine more, Philly or Jacksonville? 6 weeks. That'll bring you to about week 10, week 11. We're talking.
I mean, that's a tough one because
just spitball.
Well, hold on, because Jacksonville, it's the first year head coach.
Right.
This is something that's been brewing in Philadelphia at least last year to second year. I'm going to say if they can, Trevor Lawrence could be more consistent.
Right.
I'm not saying Lawrence is better than Hurts. That's not what I'm saying. We're talking about teams. You're asking me about teams?
Teams. Yes.
I'm going to say it would be probably a deadlock. They're probably going to have similar records.
So what you're saying right now on Sports Talk is that you're saying Philadelphia is the best team in the NFL. Gotcha. Thank you.
That's not what I said.
I know.
That's not at all what I said.
If I had to pick, I'm going to say Jacksonville. I'm going to take a chance. I think I like what I see out of this Jacksonville team.
They're a young team. They're a young team, and if this quarterback can continue to grow, they're going to be dangerous. There's no question about it.
Weak division. So young team, I like what I see, and they're in a weak division. I think Jacksonville, in about 6, 7, 8 weeks, we'll be looking back at this, and we're going to be surprised with what Jacksonville's been doing, in my opinion.
Not me. I expect them to be good after what I've seen so far here in 4 games.
Yeah. So now we're going to jump over to the next game. Another absolutely ugly game. It was the New York Jets against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jets ended up winning 24-20. Pittsburgh, in my opinion, blew this game. What are your thoughts on this one, dude?
Literally, they had the lead.
Yeah, I know.
They had the lead. So wasn't it 20-10 at one point or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. I think you were right. I think it was 20-10, but yeah.
In a game, I hate to sound like a naysayer, but when the media outlets do this shit, it makes it easy. You want to target certain people, I'm going to keep targeting you. And the bigger we get and the more powerful we get, I'm coming for your ass, ESPN, because you're a bunch of shysters. You suck. Okay, you're very, very, very. Whatever fits your narrative, that's what you're going with.
Right.
When you listen to them, when I watched their coverage and the highlights of this game after the games, and they made it sound like Zach Wilson. Man, he struggled early, but man, he led that chart. He had a quarterback rating of 59.
Yeah, that's bad. This is his first game back, so
I don't give a shit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not dumping on the kid. I'm dumping on ESPN. Understand what I'm saying here.
You're dumping on everybody. You're just dumping on everyone this week. It's almost like the Dolphins.
You didn't even. No. I'm not dumping on everybody. I'm dumping on the ones that get ridiculous. I know you're just playing. I'm dumping on the ones that get ridiculous coverage that I look at them and I go, it's like when you're watching Christmas Vacation. You serious, Clark?
Oh, yeah. That was a good movie.
You serious, guys? The kid had a quarterback rating of 59. Now, we do play him next, so hopefully he doesn't kick our ass, but we do have our backup coming in there, and I highly doubt they're going to kick our ass, but stranger things happen. So, right. But I'm just saying, 252 yards, 18 of 36, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Yes, one of the things you look at in a young quarterback is when he has a bad first half, how he responds. He did respond well on a serious note. So see, there you go. I'm not dumping on everybody. I do have a football IQ. You know that better than anybody.
Right.
He did respond well, but can we not talk about him like he's fucking Joe Montana?
Yeah. Well, and like we just established, Pittsburgh, they blew that game. Trubisky, do you have Trubisky's numbers in front of you by any chance?
Yeah, he was 7 of 13 for 84 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick, a quarterback rating of 41, which is even worse. And then Kenny Pickett came in, had 120 yards, 10 of 13, had a quarterback rating of 65, had no touchdowns and 3 interceptions. This was ugly freaking football.
This was
when they talk about on like CBS, ESPN, NFL.com, parity in the league. What parity? You have a select few teams that have like aging superstars, and then you're sitting there praying that certain quarterbacks can fill their void when they leave.
Yeah.
And right now, all I'm seeing is a lot of strikeouts. Zach Wilson looks, to me, he has potential, but I'm sorry, based on what I saw last year, I know it's only one game. I need to see more. I think they drafted him way too high, dude. I'm sorry, dude. We'll see.
This is another one where, like you said, that comment about Chicago and the Giants. I think this is another game where we won't be seeing either team late in the season. They won't be anything to fear. They're not good. Neither team.
Well, I wouldn't go that, because the Jets have a pretty good defense and they can run the ball a little bit here, but
yeah.
So they're not terrible.
Yeah.
They're not Chicago Bears terrible.
Right.
Because Zach Wilson's definitely better than Justin Fields. But, I mean, when you listen to them talk about him, no, man. Come on, man. I need to see more.
But the problem is in that division, even if they finish with just a game above 500, I don't think that's going to be enough to take a playoff spot. That's what I'm saying. I just don't.
No way. You're not getting 3 teams from that division. You're not.
No. Probably, yeah, no. We'll talk about the divisions later on.
Yeah.
But now we're going to jump over to the next game. We got Arizona at Carolina. Arizona ended up winning this game 26-16. This was another ugly game to watch, man. Arizona scored 2 touchdowns off of short field that their defense set up for them. The only real drive leading to a touchdown, in my opinion, was when I think the last one when they made it 26. I'm blanking on his name there. Through
Kyler Murray.
Thank you. Other than that, if it wasn't for those 2 short fields, this could have been a completely different game. Thoughts?
Another ESPN favorite, Kyler Murray.
Yep.
This kid looks average. I mean, I'm sorry. He's not a terrible quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but the way they talk about him, yuck. I mean, the contract he just got, if I'm Arizona, I'm in the bathroom puking my brains out. Number one. Number 2, Baker Mayfield. What the freak is going on there, man? You got Christian McCaffrey, who did not run the ball well, but he's usually a really good running back. And when he's not running the ball well, he's making plays in the passing game.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot there. I mean, he doesn't have a lot there. But, again, for Baker Mayfield, you're going to get criticism, but you brought it on yourself, though, because this dude's got a big mouth.
Yeah.
And he's 1-3, and he might get benched. Seriously.
Yeah. All right. Now from that game, we're going to jump over to the New England against Green Bay. Talk about surprises. New England ended up losing this game 24-27, but it took until the end of overtime for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers to beat the New England Patriots with their 3rd-string quarterback, because Brian Hoyer ended up getting hurt pretty early in that game. I mean, I know you're not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, but talk to me, man. What's going on? What happened?
I actually like Aaron Rodgers. I like some of his commercials. They're funny. I actually like him as a human being, because these guys are human beings at the end of the day. Right. There is life after football. And I think I made the whole ponytail comment a couple of weeks ago. But, man, wow, man. Like, I've never seen Aaron Rodgers play this bad, number one. And a lot of people say, well, he's got a lot of young receivers. Dude, again, excuses. Stop it. If that was anybody else, you'd be dumping all over him. The Patriots, I'm going to say this. For anybody, and again, this team is in my divisions, and this is probably going to shock you. This is why Bill Belichick, cheater. I mean, no, just kidding. It's going to go down as one of the best all-time coaches. When you look at what this dude did in this game as a coach, getting these guys ready with Brian Hoyer, then he goes out. Yeah. And then you have your 3rd-string quarterback in there who's a rookie. Mm-hmm. And you could have won this game as easily as you lost it. You took Aaron Rodgers to overtime with your 3rd-string quarterback. This is what I'm saying. A, B, Mac Jones comes back and stays healthy, and this offense, they start to figure out and get what's his face. He should not be an offensive coordinator. Get him out of there.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Patricia, right?
Yeah. Let somebody else call the plays. Mac Jones healthy. They look, what they did in this game is what they should do when Mac Jones comes back. to set up the play action, right? They ran the ball. Dude, they have two really good running backs on this team. Seriously, Damian Harris and Stevenson are two studs, okay? And when Mac Jones comes back, stop airing it out like he's freaking Dan Marino.
Right.
If you're going to use the play action, you got to run the ball. They ran the ball 33 times in this game. I'm not saying you're going to run it 33 times every game,
right, but
24 to 26 times on average. And Mac Jones, the Patriots are not as bad as people think, man. They're gonna beat a lot of teams late in the season when they get Mac Jones back. You heard it here first here on Sports Talk. The Patriots are not as bad as some people think. Yeah. That defense, that running game, when Mac Jones comes back, he's definitely better than either one of these quarterbacks that played here this weekend. Right. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I've been saying that even during the offseason. The Patriots are not as bad as the people are saying because, A, they're coached well. And when you're coached well, it does translate on the field. And the Patriots are going to be somebody. They're not going to be an easy out. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, underrated 1-3 team. We could just put it at that.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're going to jump over to the next game. We got Denver against the Las Vegas Raiders. Denver ended up losing this game 23-32. So finally, the Raiders got to win. They got to win. So thoughts on this game?
The Broncos continue to look average.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. The Raiders were bound to get their first win. They're too talented to be 0-4. And I wasn't shocked by this at all. The Broncos and Russell Wilson have not been that impressive at all. And it's not surprising. I mean, I'm surprised about how high scoring it was, to be honest with you. But I'm not surprised that the Broncos lost. Actually, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. So enough of that game. We're going to jump on to the next one. We got Kansas City at Tampa Bay. Kansas City ended up winning this game 41-31. But let me tell you something. There was a good stretch there where they were up pretty big on Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, is it worth the divorce? Because it came out today, officially, they're getting a divorce.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Really worth getting a divorce and your kid losing your kids? Like, what is the matter with you, dude? You clearly, 385 yards, people are going to say, what are you, nuts? You threw 3 touchdown passes. A lot of that was garbage numbers because they were behind bad. So don't give me that crap, dude. Like, you have 7 Super Bowls. You own all the passing records. This is pure greed. Karma's a bitch. That's what you're getting, boy. You're one of the greatest of all time, but your greed has cost you your marriage, and you're 2-2. And I know I said last week he could win this division on crutches because this division sucks, right. And he probably will end up winning this division. But I'm not impressed. I'm not really impressed with Tom Brady right now and the Buccaneers. Not at all.
No, the I think Kansas City kind of showed them a high scoring game that Kansas City was playing a game of keep up, and Brady and the Bucs couldn't. They like I said, at one point I think they were down. I want to say it was like 3 touchdowns, and it pretty much took everything for them to get back to even that 31.
And they had all their weapons there this week. The 3 wide receivers were back, so that's not an excuse.
Yeah,
which we gave them all the benefit of the doubt last week, but
right.
that doesn't apply here.
No, I agree. That was I thought it was going to be a high scoring game. I just thought it would have been a little closer. So so much for that, I guess. And so that's it. That's it for the main games. Now we just have left our 2 teams. So I think we should start off with a Thursday game.
No, we're going to start off with yours.
Oh, you want to start off with the Monday game? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so we're going to jump to the Monday night game then. We're going to do it was the LA Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. My Niners came away with a win, 24-9. But I got some stuff to say about this game, dude. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. We ended up winning this game. I'm glad we won the game. It puts us at top of the division. Big win, especially in the division, and it puts us at 2-2. My team could easily and should have easily beaten Chicago week 1, and we should have beaten Denver week 3. We should be undefeated right now. That's what I'm just going to put out there. I know should have, could have, would have. I get it. Now, here's the other thing. Garoppolo, I don't care what his numbers say. Those are fluffed numbers because if you look at those plays, we had a beautiful run by Deebo Samuel. He threw a little 3-yard. I could have made that throw. 3-yard dump off to Deebo, and then Deebo breaks like 3 tackles and goes to the house for a touchdown. That had nothing to do with Garoppolo. That was all Deebo. And then another touchdown we scored later in the game to seal the Rams was a defensive interception, a beautiful interception taken to the house. Once again, nothing to do with Garoppolo. And then the first touchdown we got was a beautiful run, which was like a 40-something yard run. Once again, nothing to do with Garoppolo. I'm not bashing on Garoppolo, but
yes, you are.
I'm not bashing on him. I'm just saying this is where he's comfortable right there. These little dinks and dumps and just hand the ball off. Let your running game do what it's got to do. Let your receivers do what they got to do, and let your defense do what it's got to do. And it proves it. Look what we did, 24-9. I'm happy. Go ahead, man. I want to hear what you got to say now.
Are you sure?
I do. Let's do it.
All right. Now, seriously, I'm not going to disagree with everything you said, but let me just say this. Football is a team sport.
Right. Okay.
Yes, it's a 3-yard. You sound like some of the guys on ESPN right now. It's a 3-yard slant.
Yep.
But it's an offense. That's Mr. Shanahan's offense, isn't it? Yep. That's what he does.
Right.
Your boy Steve Young, threw a lot of 4 or 5-yard passes that Jerry Rice took to the house. So
yeah.
And you loved Steve Young growing up because we're related. So you can't. So you're kind of dumping all over Garoppolo. But am I comparing Garoppolo to Steve Young? Hell
yes,
no.
you are. Yes, no, you are. Not. Steve Young has a Super Bowl ring.
No, it's not even about the Super Bowl ring. Dude, Super Bowls don't define careers because does that mean Trent Dilfer's better than Dan Marino? Come on, man. Like, not even close. So let's not go there. Yeah. But it's not even about the Super Bowl. Steve Young was just a better quarterback, consistent, week in, week out, making the plays when they needed to for his team. But it's a team sport, man. And he got the job done. He threw for 239 yards, fluff numbers or not. He had a touchdown. He had no sacks. He had a quarterback rating of just over 100. And he didn't turn it over. He protected the football. He ran the offense. He managed the game, which is what he didn't do the week before. And you guys ran the ball. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more balance, but you did run the ball effectively. And you guys got the win.
Yeah.
Where I will also agree with you is, look, we talked about this last week. We talked about the week before. Your running game and your defense is what is the bread and butter of this team. Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance, which if you think you hate Jimmy Garoppolo, wait till you get Trey Lance back next year. You're going to look at Jimmy Garoppolo and you're going to be all over his schlong, okay? Because Trey Lance is not a very good quarterback, okay? That's just my opinion based on what I saw in training camps and stuff like that. He was overshooting receivers and underthrowing receivers, and that's training camp. That's not even a game. You do that in a game, you're going to throw 6 interceptions, dude. That's just plain and simple. Yeah. And I will add one thing. Well, all the hoopla, again, you're going to say because it's a division rival. I'm saying it because it's a fact. Ladies and gentlemen, football fans, the San Francisco 49ers have the best defense in the NFL, not the Buffalo Bills. Get all you freaking Bills fans, get all your players healthy. I believe you're going to play the 49ers this year. I want both defenses healthy. Mm-hmm. And when they smack you in the mouth and they take out Josh Allen and do what Miami did, but perfect it more because they have more talent than Miami does on defense, they're going to smack you in the mouth and they're going to take you out. They're going to beat you. This team has the best defense in the freaking league. I know what I was watching last week. It's suffocating. They have a great secondary. They have great linebackers. They have a great defensive line. They are suffocating, and they have depth at most of those positions. You put a quarterback over there that's got a little bit more consistency than Garoppolo, you guys are winning multiple Super Bowls. So bottom line here is the Rams are not that good. They look like they have the Super Bowl hangover, like they lost.
I know.
They don't look like they have any drive to repeat. I know it's only 4 games, but damn it, dude, have a pulse. They haven't looked good against even average teams to below average teams. So the fact that they got murdered by the 49ers was not a surprise. I said it last week that I thought you guys would win. So there you go.
Now here's the thing. I know it sounds like I might be crapping on Garoppolo. The bottom line is with him, he is okay as a game manager. That's what I'm getting at. Right. I love the 49er defense. And honestly, I've loved the Niner defense for many years. Because even when we had Alex Smith and Kaepernick, our defense was very good. Not this good. I think this defense actually might be better than that defense.
Can I say something to you, dude? Like, let me put it to you this way. And by the way, you guys don't even have your starting running back. He's out.
Yeah, he's out. Yep.
Okay. So when he comes back, you got Wilson and what's the starting running back's name? I forget his name now. Comes back, he's going to add more depth to the running game. If Alex Smith was the quarterback of this team right here, I think it's fair to say I've seen enough of Alex Smith over the years, and I know what I've seen of Jimmy Garoppolo. Alex Smith is a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo.
He's a better game manager. Yeah, he's a better game manager.
Just a better, whatever you want to call him, he's a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo is. He was more consistent. He was a game manager, but he made more big plays more consistently. If you guys had Alex Smith, you probably would be no worse than 3-1, maybe even 4-0.
Probably, yeah.
With Alex Smith.
Yeah, Alex Smith. But that's the thing. The Niners' defense is incredible. The running game's really good. The special teams is very good too. We have a great punter, a great kicker. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like I said, our one shining weak spot is the quarterback position. And why shine a light on that position by making Garoppolo throw 30 times a game baffles me. Don't do it. Have him throw in the low 20s. 20 to 21 times, run the ball, let your defense keep you in the game. Because even the games we lost, the defense kept us in those games. If it wasn't for as good of a defense as we had, we probably would have lost much more.
You got to have balance, man. Look, yeah. I wouldn't say in the low 20s because I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is Justin Fields, but he's definitely better than that. I'm all right with him throwing 25 to 26 times. He threw 27 in this game. So one more pass.
When he starts getting there.
Okay, but 24 to 26 times is all right.
Yeah.
I think you guys, especially when you get your starter running back, but even with this kid Wilson, dude, 22 for 88 against a good Rams defense. That's the only part of the Rams team that's playing good is their defense because their running game ain't worth a crap. Matthew Stafford looks probably as bad as he's ever looked. He just doesn't look right now.
Yeah.
And just run the ball, man. I said last week I would like to see him run the ball 25 plus times.
Yeah.
They ran it 22. You need to get your defense, as good as it is, you guys got to have long sustained drives. The way to have long sustained drives is have a good balance. Garoppolo throw 25 times, you got to run 25 plus times. That's the only way you're going to continue drives, sustain drives, have long drives, wear out that defense, and you're going to get wins. And that's when Garoppolo's at his best, is in the play action. That's when he looks more comfortable. How do you do that? You got to establish the run game. As soon as they come in to stop the run game, you take a shot over the top, boom, touchdown. Easy plays that make the quarterback look good and make your team win football games.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, that's the other thing I wanted to say, too, is that with this game, like I said, we scored 3 touchdowns, 1 on defense and 2 with big plays. They were like 50 yards each. We didn't get to see Garoppolo lead the Niners in like one of those classic, 6-7 minute drives, going down the field, just eating chunks of yards at a time. You know what I mean? It was 2 big plays that we took off for touchdowns, which are great. But in the same sense, that's the ones that those are great, but those are not always reliable. I want to see Garoppolo do the long sustaining drives, the ones where he's eating up 6 to 8 minutes of clock, where it's like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, and he's converting on them and moving down the field and getting a touchdown. I want to see that. And that's when he seems to not be able to pull it off. And especially since our defense could use that time to rest and get some breathers when we're eating up 5 to 8 minutes of clock, you know?
I mean, let's look at this. Total plays run. The Rams, 73. 49ers, 49.
Right.
Okay. Total yards, Rams 257, 49ers 327. Total drives, whatever that means, 10 and 9 in favor of the Rams. Yards per play, 3.5 for the Rams, which is abysmal.
Yep.
6.7 for the 49ers. Passing, 200 as a team, 239. Okay, so rushing, 88 and 57 in favor of the 49ers. Time of possession, 34 and a half minutes versus the Niners, who only had 25. So it was close.
It was close.
But you're right. I mean, they're not really chewing up the clock. And when you start to face better quarterbacks than Matthew Stafford, you're going to have a hard time. You got to have longer drives. One of the best ways to keep great quarterbacks on the sideline is control the game. Yeah. Win the time of possession. Don't turn the ball over. Have long drives. Wear out that defense. Keep that guy on the sideline and minimize how many plays he can make. And as you guys get late into the season, because let's face it, Jimmy Garoppolo is limited, okay? But one of the ways that you can make him look better than what he is make the play action count. You got to run the game. You got to run the ball, and they have the running back to do it now. When you get your starter back, come on, man, no excuse. Even with this guy in there, you should have ran more than 22 times.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, the team is a very good built run team. We have a good fullback, a very good fullback in Juszczyk. I like him a lot. We got a good big offensive line. Like, we can run the ball. Like, it's not like we're a team that's built for like shotgun and spreading the field. We can spread the field, but that's not what it's meant. Like, the team is meant for more of that West Coast style. Let's run the ball, and especially with Kittle and Ayuk and those short like dump passes to Debo and stuff like that. We should be able to run the ball more, and that's what always frustrated me about. I guess technically that would be Shanahan and the play calling, is that don't have Garoppolo throw so much. He is not the type of guy that's going to do it. He's the type of guy that he'll win you games, but you got to be able to eat up the clock with a running game. And sometimes, unfortunately, the way the offense is built, you got to pray for those 3 yards and he takes it to the house. I just don't see them doing that against bigger, tougher defenses. I just don't see it happening. And that's what scares me.
Yeah.
So that's it for the Niner game. We had obviously a little extra to say on that one. Now we're going to go over to the Thursday night game, which was, of course, your Miami Dolphins versus Cincinnati Bengals. Miami suffered their first loss of the season, losing 15-27. And this was a crazy game, dude. This was crazy on a lot of different levels. But I would like for you to start us off on this one, since this is your team.
I want to start off by being classy, not classless.
Mm-hmm.
And not that Tua is going to watch this, but if any Dolphins fan watch this, this is a message to Dolphins fans. But in case, you never know, things can go viral. Tua Tagovailoa, my friend, get well mentally, physically. Football, there's life after football. And I think even people who are watching that game that weren't Dolphins fans had their hearts in their throat, because at least the genuine people, that was hard to watch, seeing him laid out like that. So first and foremost, there is life after football. Take your time. Don't rush back. It's not worth it. It's just a game. And I think we all tend to forget that this is just a pastime. This is a game. The guys that play this they're real people. They have families. They have wives. They have mothers. They have sons. They're human beings. They're not machines. So let's first and foremost, I wanted to say that. And for you, trash, garbage, human beings out there that I saw in the live stream when I was watching the game, that was saying, there goes your season. And he's got more, you guys have, this guy's got more concussions than you guys have made playoff appearances in the last 20 years.
Wow.
You're a piece of scumbag, piece of crap.
Yeah.
Why would you celebrate anybody's potential demise? There was at one point there where I thought this kid was paralyzed. Okay. You don't make statements like that. Okay. Karma's a bitch. Whoever those people were are garbage human beings. Well, since when did society become such human pieces of shit? Like, has this generation absolutely lost their freaking mind? I mean,
Yes.
you're in your mid to late 30s. I'm in my late 40s. And dude, it wasn't like that when we were growing up, when we were kids. There was a little bit more respect for other people and for sports because we understood that it was just a pastime. It was a sport. Like, you know, sometimes I like to make myself look like I'm really serious when I'm really joking around, but I want to sell it.
Yeah.
But now I'm not joking around. I'm dead freaking serious. Really quick. I applaud the Miami Dolphins. They played well considering everything that was going on, especially after Tua went down. It's hard to refocus. Coaches, players, all alike. This score, 27-15, is skewed. It was, I think, less than 3 minutes to go. It was only 20-15. Miami was driving. Teddy Bridgewater threw a supposed touchdown, interception, I mean.
Yeah.
That looks to me like it hit the ground. So, but because of everybody being out of it, the coaching staff missed it. They should have challenged it. That was not an interception. And I believe he threw that interception. They were at the 30 or inside Cincinnati's 30-yard line. So they were driving.
Yeah.
They were driving. And look, it was a closer game than what this score indicates.
Yeah. And
Miami, I mean, I don't believe in moral victories, but considering what happened in this game, I think they did a good job. I mean, but they shot themselves in the foot. The offense did. A drop touchdown pass at Tua in that first drive, couldn't have placed it any better. And Edmonds dropped it. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that, dude. 99 times out of 100, that's going to get caught. They dropped it. They missed a field goal, and they missed an extra point. And, of course, they missed the interception. That wasn't, because it looked to me like that ball hit the ground. I watched the replay a couple of times. That ball hits the ground. That's not an interception. Miami keeps the ball. Maybe they score a touchdown on that drive, and they win the game. But I want to get into some of the things that then I want to hear what you have to say, because I got some notes here. If we are serious about player safety, why aren't more people talking about getting rid of the Thursday night games? If we are serious, which, first of all, ESPN, NFL.com, CBS, you expect me to believe that all of a sudden you care for Tua Tagovailoa when you've spent the better part of 2 years trashing this kid? One of the reasons why this kid had to fight his way and probably begged his way into this game that you guys say he should have never played in was probably because of you, the media, constantly dogging this kid because he doesn't have a Twitter account, because he's more of a religious person. I mean, are we really doing this? Are we really hating on players because we don't like the way they conduct themselves, which is a fine young man, because of his religion or because he doesn't have Twitter and because he's not hit with today's fucked up society? Because that's what this is.
Yeah.
Why else would you have so much hate for the better part of 2+ years on this kid? He's done. I mean, he was asked about Brian Flores and he couldn't say a bad word about the dude, even though Brian Flores was undermining this kid the whole time he was there, because that's not the quarterback that he wanted drafted. So this is the type of human being that Tua Tagovailoa is. So nobody's buying your sympathy towards Tua. This is all about targeting a franchise that you guys don't like. I want to also touch on, if you think that the Miami Dolphins are the only ones having meetings with players before they're supposed to, get out of that little bubble of yours, because it happens a lot more than what you guys think. Okay. There's been teams that have been caught in the past that have been fined for it.
Yeah.
And lost draft picks. And I'm pretty sure, I'm going to go out and say, and I'm usually pretty good with these conspiracy theories, every team has done it.
Oh, I'm sure they have. Yeah.
Every team has done it. The only difference is Brian Flores is a little pissed off and he threw them under the bus. But don't think that the Miami Dolphins, and the reason why I'm saying this is they brought this up during this whole meltdown the media's had after this game about the Tua thing. And they brought this part up. Well, why should we trust the Dolphins organization? Look at the whole tampering thing with Tom Brady. Are you freaking kidding me? They have already been punished for it. Move the freak on. This is more about hating on certain franchises than it is about player safety. Another thing I'd like to say is, Roger Goodell, you got to go. You're all about the freaking money. You're not about player safety. Like I said, if you were about player safety, get rid of the Thursday night games, because the players don't like it. The coaches don't like it. The only ones that like it is the league and the networks. That's it. They're the only ones that like it. And I want to touch on something else. We're really worried about player safety, right? Was it J.J. Watt or his brother or whoever's in the league, or was it J.J. Watt that played recently, even though the week leading up to him playing, he had been having heart issues, and yet he played? So we're not covering that, right? So what, you're going to wait for the guy to drop dead on the field of a heart attack? We're not covering that.
Right.
T. Higgins, 2 concussions in 3 games. Where's the outrage on that? He played in the Dolphins game. Minka Fitzpatrick. See, you ain't going to fudge with me, man. I do my homework. I don't come out. I don't trash on people just because it doesn't fit my agenda. These are facts. Minka Fitzpatrick concussed, played the whole second half of that game, practiced the entire week, and played the following week. Tua Tagovailoa was examined by an independent doctor, not just the Miami Dolphins team physicians. He was cleared, which, by the way, the physician for the NFL and the Players Association has been fired. Thus, the cover-up begins. They're going to cover up their own ass, and you can expect a lawsuit towards the Miami Dolphins within the next few months, because they're going to come up with some bogus shit to cover their own ass. When in reality, the bottom line here is this. The concussion protocol is flawed. Players have come out time and time again and said that they were able to manipulate and cheat and pass the test, even though they were concussed.
Yeah.
Whether that's what happened with Tua or not, I'm not going to speculate on that because I'm not a doctor. I just know the facts. Players have said that they have been able to pass a test, even though they had concussions. Number one. Number two, the independent doctors are hired by the league and the Players Association. If you are worried about this genuinely, okay, get rid of the Thursday night games. That's part of the problem. Too quick of a turnaround. Players don't like it. Coaches don't like it. Now, next point is, are we doing this? Are we having this conversation? I just read you a list of 3 players. One was having heart problems that played. They're not covering it.
Right.
You expect me to believe that your negative coverage of Tua for 2+ years, now all of a sudden you care? It's a conspiracy. It doesn't fit their narrative. They don't like the Miami Dolphins organization, amongst others. And this is all about targeting the Dolphins, getting them to lose more draft picks. This has nothing to do about Tua. They'd like to see nothing more than Tua never play another football game again. Some of them have said it on air. He should never play another game again because of those 2 concussions. I mean, this is absolutely a meltdown and bias. And I'm going to say this again. This also falls on the fans. Me, you, and everybody else. If we really didn't like what we saw, if we really like our teams and we look at the players on our teams as human beings, not just players / robots, stop watching Thursday night freaking football. Because send a message to the league. Say, we're serious about this shit. We're not going to tolerate it. If you're serious about player safety, get rid of the Thursday night game. I've barely heard it mentioned. I've only heard the Thursday night football games. They should get rid of it on YouTube. I haven't heard it on ESPN. I haven't heard it on NFL.com. I haven't heard it on NFL.com, NFL Network. I haven't heard it anywhere. CBS, NBC, they're not covering it. They don't want to talk about the real problem. The real problem is the NFL concussion protocol is flawed. They need to make adjustments to it.
Yep. And
they need to apply it across. Look, take ownership. The way that you're running your league right now, adding a regular season game on top of an already brutal schedule, having Thursday night games on top of that, look in the freaking mirror. And as fans, I encourage everybody to stop supporting the Thursday night games. Send a clear message to Mr. Goodell, who should be freaking thrown out on his ass out of this league. Jerry Jones tried doing it a couple of years ago, tried getting owners to go on a vote and vote this guy out. And when it didn't pass, do you know what Mr. Goodell did? He fined Jerry Jones. The guy's a scumbag. And I'm going to end it with this. The reason why I'm this outraged, it's not because they lost, because I don't even care. I remember watching the rest of that game. I didn't even care that they lost. I was proud of the way they battled. I don't care. They're still 3-1.
Yep.
The coverage was disgusting. The things that people were saying on social media was disgusting. You're applauding that this kid is down like that? It's disgusting. The media coverage, all of a sudden love Tua. Ain't nobody buying it. You don't even have to be a Dolphin fan. All you have to do is be a diehard football fan and even be a Patriot fan and know the way that they've covered this kid. And the media is part of the reason why this kid was out there to begin with, to shut your negativity talk about him up. Is why he forced his way out onto that field. And this should be a learning experience for fans and the media alike. If it doesn't fit your narrative and you don't like somebody for whatever reason, you're there to do a job, and that is to break down football games and break down talent.
Yeah.
Just because you like somebody doesn't give you the right to mock them. Just look at the first 3 games. The kid is definitely was playing at a higher level the first 3 games of this season. Trust me, I know, I'm a fan. He was playing at a higher level, and they still couldn't give him credit.
Yeah.
Scores 21-point deficit in the fourth quarter in 10 minutes. And they said it was more about Baltimore than it was about him. Are you freaking serious, dude?
Well, dude.
But that's what I got to say. And then I've said enough, and then I will let you wrap it up, and I'll respond to anything if you have any questions to me. But I think it's absolutely disgusting, but also very predictable at the same time with the media coverage.
Well, the thing is, I mean, like I told you, what was it, week 1 when Trey Lance got hurt? I saw some of that negativity and people being happy he broke his ankle and he's out for the year. Like, that's ridiculous. This is a young kid. Why would you root like that? I don't understand. But real quick, before we move on to the division stuff, I know you had a lot to say about this, but I do have one question. What were your thoughts on Bridgewater's performance in that game?
I think Teddy Bridgewater played all right. I mean, the game plan was for a left-handed quarterback, and you could tell he's a right-handed quarterback. He did not practice with the starters. So, and then when you see your teammate stretched off the field like that, it's hard for anybody to refocus. All the players admitted that. But we'll see. Yeah. He's going to have a week and a half to prepare for the Jets game. He's going to get the reps. Mike McDaniel's going to get a game plan based on what Teddy Bridgewater does well, because Tua's going to be out probably for at least three games at least. So that's what I would do. I would keep him out for at least 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
But just to be clear, one more time before we get to division standings, he was cleared and he was checked on every single day after that Buffalo game. And I want to say one more thing based on the media coverage, because I know you want to move on. I know you don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, but I'm leading this up with facts. Did you see the hit? You saw the hit when he was spun to the ground, right?
Yeah.
Where he ended up getting concussed. Did you see the hit before that where it was roughing the passer, where his legs got hit, bent back, and he fell backwards on a late hit by the Bengals to play right before that?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that hit?
Yeah.
Do you think that might have contributed to his concussion and his back problems? Or do you see a pattern here where they kept showing just that last hit, not the dirty hit before that, and then they were showing the Buffalo hit? You see a pattern here?
Yeah. Yep.
Come on now. Be fair with your coverage and be professional. That is unprofessional, but predictable.
Right.
Moving on.
Yep, moving on. So,
you have nothing to say.
Huh?
Nothing to say. I had plenty to say about your team. You have nothing to say about that.
I mean, the thing is, I think we both know that when it comes to like the media, they will peddle a certain way, especially since he got a dirty hit or he hit his head the week before. They said he shouldn't have played this week. He played. So, yeah, I agree with what you're saying with that the media obviously, of course, peddled it a certain way. And now they've been talking about how they're going to look into things. And, I mean, a lot of what you're saying is true. I mean, I do agree with what you're saying. That's why I was just listening the whole time, because you were saying a lot of true things. And I agree with you. They like you said, the hit before it, they could have showed that too. That wasn't exactly a great hit. That looked like that hurt too. So I don't know, man. It's tough. I mean, we're going to be seeing, I'm sure there's going to be some changes in the offseason. So we'll see what ends up actually happening.
Oh, I think his change is coming before the offseason, my friend.
No, I mean, like when it comes to like the concussion protocol and all that.
I think you're seeing it already.
Before that?
I think you're seeing it already. You're going to see it during the season and moving forward.
Well,
yeah.
Clearly it needs to be. So,
yep.
But anyway, so let's go to the division standings. We got, let's start with the AFC East. We got Miami at 3-1, Buffalo 3-1, the Jets 2-2, New England 1-3.
We'll see. I mean, I think it's this division is going to be a lot tighter before the year is over. I don't think the Patriots, that 1-3 is very deceiving. I think they're better than that.
Yeah. I think the Patriots and the Jets will be swapping.
Yep.
In my opinion. Now we go over to the AFC North. Cleveland 2-2, Cincinnati 2-2, Baltimore 2-2, and Pittsburgh 1-3. Cleveland's winning that division right now.
It's not going to stay that way. It's going to come down to the Bengals and the Ravens.
Yeah.
Even if Deshaun Watson comes back, I said if they can hold water 500, but I don't know, man. Jacoby Brissett, if he hits that wall, dude, it's going to get ugly really fast. They might lose 2-3 in a row. Seriously.
Yeah. But Baltimore's defense, too, giving up big fourth quarter comebacks, man. They got to stop doing that.
They got a lot of injuries. If they get those players back, dude, that stuff's going to stop. And I'm telling you right now, this is going to come down to Cincinnati and Baltimore. Pittsburgh is a joke. Cleveland's not a joke, but Deshaun Watson being out for 10 games, that hurts. Yeah. It hurts.
Yep. Now we're going to go to the AFC South. We got Jacksonville 2-2, Tennessee 2-2, Indy 1-2-1, and Houston 0-3-1. They're the only team that has not won a game yet is Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jacksonville will jump up.
I think it's going to come down to Jacksonville and Tennessee because of coaching. I think Mike Vrabel's done a good job. Defense. I think if they can make a trade at the deadline and bring in a wide receiver, they can stop making some more plays in that passing game. I think it'll come down between Jacksonville and Tennessee. I don't know, man. Indianapolis looks a little bit too inconsistent for me.
Yeah.
I know they have a good defense. I think they just lost their running back for the year, so that's going to put even more pressure on Matt Ryan. The Texans are what they are. They're in rebuild mode. So
yeah, I think Jacksonville will be they'll be at the top, and I think they'll be pretty comfortable by a good 2 or 3 games, in my opinion.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I think they're going to take the division hands down. That's just my opinion.
No, I mean, I could see that happening too.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah, as of right now, everything changes. But now we're going to go to the AFC West. We got Kansas City 3-1. We got the Chargers 2-2, Denver 2-2, and the Raiders 1-3.
That's a tough division, dude.
It is, but I think to lose.
I was just you took the words right out of my mouth. I think it's Kansas City's division to lose.
Yep.
And we'll just see what the other 3 teams do. Denver has not impressed me. The Raiders, well, we already know about the Raiders. And Justin Herbert, great young up-and-coming quarterback, but until he starts beating Mahomes and other the better competition teams,
yeah,
I need to see more from him.
Yeah, I agree. I need to see a little more too. Now we're going to jump to the NFC. We're going to do the NFC East. We got Philadelphia 4-0, the only team that's undefeated. Dallas 3-1, Giants 3-1, Washington 1-3.
Dallas will take this division when Dak Prescott comes back if he's healthy. With that defense, the running game, the Eagles have had a cushy schedule. I think that they will continue to win because of their schedule, but I think a healthy Dallas Cowboys is going to take down the Eagles. I don't see the Eagles winning this division. I'm sorry, I just don't. And it's not anything personal against the Eagles.
Yep.
It's just look at their schedule, dude. You don't even have to have a high IQ. They've had a really easy schedule, and they were in the playoffs. I don't get it.
Yeah. As long as Dallas keeps the play calling the way it is now with Cooper, I don't see why Dallas couldn't take that division either. But as of right now, Philly is at the top. So now we got the NFC North. We got Minnesota 3-1, Green Bay 3-1, Chicago 2-2, and Detroit 1-3.
It's going to come down to the Packers and the Vikings all year. The Lions don't have a pulse on defense. They couldn't stop a nosebleed if they wanted to. And the Bears just are the Bears.
Yeah, I don't trust that offense on the Bears at all.
Nope.
Green Bay, though, dude, honestly, Aaron Rodgers is making me a little nervous this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota ends up clinching that division. We'll see.
Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady not having a good year so far, but they can't turn it around, but we'll see. But thus far, neither one has impressed me. Neither one.
Agreed. Speaking of Tom Brady, we're going to go to the NFC South now. We got Tampa 2-2, Atlanta 2-2, Carolina 1-3, and New Orleans 1-3.
It's like I said, if New Orleans can figure this out, if Andy Dalton can be that stability at quarterback, the Saints could make a push here. But again, I still think it's the Buccaneers division to lose.
No faith in Baker Mayfield?
No, not at all.
I agree. I think that's Tampa's division. I mean, unless something drastic happens, that's Tampa's division. And then now we're going to finish it off with the Niners, the NFC West. We got the Niners 2-2, the Rams 2-2, Seattle 2-2, and Arizona 2-2, all the way through.
49ers.
I agree. I think
if they
this
can
last
avoid
game gave me some hope.
If they can avoid major injuries, if Garoppolo can stay healthy, because let's not forget, Garoppolo's injury prone too.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that. If he can stay healthy, I think it's the Niners division. I think the Rams and the Cardinals, the Rams will be always right there because, I don't think they're going to completely wet themselves. But Kyler Murray, oh my God, that contract, dude, they're regretting it. They're regretting it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they don't look that great, man.
No.
They don't.
And usually they start off fast.
I know.
And this is not a good sign if you're a Cardinals fan. Not at all.
Yeah. So real quick before we wrap up, we only got a couple minutes left. My Niners play Carolina this week coming up. I think San Francisco will win that game. What do you think?
Niners.
All day. You guys got the Jets. Now, I know you guys got the backup quarterback, but especially after what I just watched, I think you guys should be able to win this game. I don't see why you guys couldn't beat the Jets.
I think Miami. I think the Jets will be scrappy. They'll keep it close, but I think Miami will eventually pull away because, again, he did get the practice all week with the team, but it is his first start, so there's going to be some growing pains there. But I will say this. If Teddy Bridgewater struggles in this game against a bad Jets team, don't be surprised if fans get what they want and you see Skylar Murray. I think the leash is going to be short on Teddy Bridgewater if he struggles. I don't think he will. I think Teddy Bridgewater will be fine. Mm-hmm. But if he does, for whatever reason, if he's lost his edge to compete in the NFL, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Skylar Murray in this game if Teddy Bridgewater plays that bad.
I could see that.
But I do think the Dolphins will win.
Yep, I agree. So that's it for us, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Real Batman, for joining me again this week. This was a lot of fun, like it always is. Let's see what ends up happening this week. And thank you guys very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you think. And if you want us to touch on a team more or, whatever. So thank you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Stay classy, guys, man. Be good to one another. It's just a game.
That's it, man. That's it. Stay healthy out there, guys. Later.
Peace.